this vid is going to show you my first solo clear of the first dungeon boss in Ghost of the Deep, which is a Hive Guardian. Right, that is basically the boss. A Sentinel one. So this video is not going to be a refined one because this is my first clear of this boss. So damage phases aren't optimized, the run isn't optimized. It's really slow because, as I say, I'm not familiar with it. I haven't done it now. If I was to redo it, I'm more familiar with it. You know, maybe try out different weapon loadouts, stuff like this. I'm not saying what I've got on is the most efficient, but I do think on Titan mains, Sunbreaker is the way to go. Now, people are going to say, we'll go with Splendor. I tried Splendor before this and there was no damage. Splendor doesn't offer any damage bonuses that exotic Gauntlets Synthoceps does. But it buffs your super massively. So over the mechanics, so there's the top where you're fighting up top, that circular dome room. The boss will roam around. You've got to kill 3 knights. The 3 knights spawns are ogre. Then the ogre spawns a deep sight in the middle that you need to reveal. That reveals symbols. Think Pit of Heresy, the Hive glyphs. You've got to memorize those symbols. You get 3 affairs. You've then got to go beneath you under the sea, right, where there's a Hive Guardian, and you've got to touch the right runes. Touching the wrong rune will instantly wipe you, so don't do that. You need to make sure you get it right. For every rune that you touch down below, you get a wizard. Now, do you need to do 3 runes in one go? No. I recommend you probably do 2 runes, right? Then come back up top, kill the 2 wizards. Each wizard drops a buff, so you can see I'm putting the buff into the towers, left, middle, right. Make sure you put that on. That will also wipe you if you don't put the buff. I think you start with 1 minute 20 seconds, something like that. So it's plenty of time, but just make sure you just put your buff in right away. All right. There's 4 exits to get under here. There's 2 at the back. There's 2 in the center of the map, and then the teleporter, the point of reference, the teleporter is at the top, right? So you first need to learn where all the symbols are down below. And there's different types of symbols that are very similar. So like what I refer to as the A symbol, there's 2 different types of the A symbol. There's the spider. There's 2 different types of the spider. There's one with a pointy bottom. There's one with just a dot. Seriously, you've got to closely look at these glyphs. It's so easy just to get the wrong one because they look so alike. A couple of them, like the ice cream cone one is the ice cream cone one. You're not going to get that messed up, but the A one and you know the spider one potentially. I drew a little map. I'm not joking you. I drew a little map, right, and then put on the map point of reference the teleporter, and then worked my way around the map, figuring out where all the runes were, so that when I actually done this run, I could look at my map a little bit and then be like, okay. Line is in the middle of the map. Burger is bottom left. Ice cream cone's top right. Spiders are on the bottom right. Both of them. Then the 2 A's. One's top right. One's top mid type thing. So I have my own little thing, right? There'll be somebody on Reddit that's done a map. Or it will happen. 100%. I'm probably going to look up if someone has done it. Like a proper one. Like I said, I just drew one up. But once you get that part down, it's the combat experience, then you need to learn next. So you're going to have an infinite wave of acolytes and infinite orange bar knights. They don't seem to stop, or they're on a timer. They're not too much of a problem, but can wipe you on DPS phase. This is why we went with the exotic sword, the Lament. We're using Calus Mini-tool because it's an SMG. SMGs are like the best primes in the game still. It's solar, it's got incandescent, gels with my Sunbreaker build perfectly. I used blinded nades, but probably could have took that off and put a fusion rifle on, to be honest. Having now done the run, I'm like, yeah, I didn't really need the blinded nades. It wasn't blinding the wizards and stuff. See, I thought this, I thought, oh, it should be able to blind them. It wasn't really blinding them so much. So I didn't get much utility out of the GL. So I would recommend the Stasis Fusion Rifle. Riptide, that's the name of it. Lament seems to be doing the work, but the problem is I don't think I had enough surges. I only had one surge on. And haven't seen that in my... Like, I should have 5-phased this fight. It was a 6-phase. I couldn't believe it. Should have been a 5-phase. 4-phase would be optimized. Once people start solo 4-phasing this boss, that's optimized. Think of this fight as Percy's. Equal in health, like not equal in health, but like that sort of health gate. And like I say, obviously it's early on with the DPS, so this is a burst damage situation. And you need to be prepped for DPS. You need to have some sort of damage going. So I've got a Solar Surge with Elemental Time Dilation and Charged Up. So I've got at least 3 blocks right on the left hand side to build up. But you also want Roaring Flames, because this is where it's going to come in. Your super is huge on a Titan. This is a big thing that you've got a good super going. Right, so I went with Burn and Maul. I know I generally do play with the other hammers. The other hammers was too slow at taking down the shield. So you see the boss is shielded. So even when DPS starts, that boss is shielded. So your DPS is getting hindered. The quicker you take down the shield, the better it is. Burn and Maul seem to melt the shield down quicker. As DPS starts, boss teleports middle. There's a green ring in the middle of the map. You need to melt down the Ultra Knight, right, with whatever, your hammer, Lament, right, and then immediately pop super, because the boss has done their super, and they're going to melt you otherwise. See, what is ideal about this is, look, the boss's super ran out just as mine did, and then I'm on Lament damage. So this damage, as I say, was a little scrappy, like I say, more surges. I need to do what I've done with way more surges, and I'll rerun it back. But there's no point running it back right now, because I'm going to go and learn. I'm going to go and learn the final boss fight mechanics, which I have CP for. So I'm going to go away and do that, and then work on solo floors after that. Because then, once I've mastered final boss, this dungeon's mastered. I know not everything about it, but I know most things. I'll need to look up if there's any better weapon types for this. For boss damage for this fight. I don't know if there will. Lament feels a little wonky at some times. We know what it's like. Lament's amazing, but it's also inconsistent at times. I would recommend don't jump in the air, try ground tracking. So that first phase that you saw, that's just going to be repeated now. So you can see the 3 knights killed. Ogre, right? Synthoceps is doing work on this, right? This is definitely your pick. There's less recovery, there's slightly less survivability, but the positive outweighs that so much, because your super damage is buffed, your melee damage is buffed, your mini hammer is doing insane damage. Because I've got 2 fragments on that cure. They cure you, they restore you anyways, and it's called Ember of Empyrean and Ember of Solace. So when you get a solar ability weapon kill or ability kill, doesn't matter, after you threw a grenade, right, you're going to have infinite restoration, providing that you keep getting solar kills. This is top notch for survivability. Really good. Warlock's going to be different. Hunter's going to be completely different. Like I say, I'm still just processing this boss fight to even know what I would run on those 2. I would say on Warlock it's probably going to be... It might be Chaos Reach, because Chaos Reach is doing some crazy things now. People are sleeping on Chaos Reach. But Well of Radiance would be probably very consistent as well. Hopefully the boss doesn't destroy Well of Radiance though, and pop the well. I've seen this happen with other things in the game, so hopefully that doesn't happen. If it doesn't, then Well's going to be a top pick. I know that the Phoenix Protocol thing got nerfed, but it doesn't really matter too much, because it's still a well. There's so much you can do with a well. It's not just about fusion nades. There's so much more to it than that. Always make sure that when you're on your final wizard that you farm up all your stuff, times 3 Roaring Flames and your stacks with Charge of Light. And solo, you're definitely going to need to use surges on this fight because of how tanky the boss is. And I look at the damage I've done. I'm to the T. That's literally barely hitting 20% there. Barely hitting 20%. So whatever loadout you're going to be using, it's going to be involving surges. I went with Lament because you're going to get some survivability out of it, and after your super is done, what are you going to damage with without being killed by the adds? You're not on a well on Warlock, you're on Titan, so what else is there? Well, I thought immediately Lament's the go-to, and I think it is. I think it is going to be the go-to for solo for people. I just needed to stack more surges in the setup, which I had the ability to do this. I don't know why I didn't do that. So yeah, it's a case of just learning all the symbols. Like I say, I can tell you roughly, you know, the symbols. So like you've got spider. If you're facing towards a teleporter, spider. Both spider symbols at the back right. Burger is mid left. Ice cream cone is top right. The two A style symbols, one's top right, one's top mid. Line is directly mid. And I probably missed one. I probably missed a symbol that I should be talking about, but right now that's all I can sort of remember to tell you. It's a habit, it's a practice thing. To practice with the symbols, and it'll be just like with Percy's, where you get to the point where you'll be doing the mechanic in one thing and it won't be much of a problem to you. Just note that downstairs you can die. There's a good chance that there's a chance of it. You need to know how to play the Hive Guardian down below. Think of him just as Percy's, where you're going to go around this rock, so he's going to go around the rock, so you can go around. Pick your route to where you want to go. But if you've got no familiar, if you're not familiar with the runes, then you're not going to be able to pick a good route. So you've got to practice it. It's as simple as that. Once you get that little bit down, and you play a survivability class, if you are on Titan, this I recommend, then the fight's not too difficult. It's just a long one. So I'm not going to provide commentary for the rest of it. I'm just going to let the rest of it run out. But that was the solo one, the first dungeon boss. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.